G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed part one of the new DRO and ball screw setup, so link up there now and go watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Oh, still raining, drizzled here all damn night, and still raining a bit this morning. But follow me over to the bench and we'll get on with this lead screw or ball screw setup. Over there. Alrighty, so I've done some calculations here this morning, marked this out. Now considering I didn't really take a lot of care in setting this up in a chuck, the point in the centre there is almost absolutely dead centre this way. So it's been relatively easy to mark that out. Now measuring this thing up, it looks like we've got 30mm centres there to there, and it's 23 for some strange reason from here to here, in between centres between those, the best I can figure out. But like I said, the two holes in the table are just massive. I mean, these are only 6mm bolts, but there's about an 8mm hole in there, so can probably afford to be out just a little bit. So this is 45mm across there, so what's the half of that's 22.5. So let's get this right out. 22, my eyes are failing me, 22.5. I'll go from both ends and see if we got that right. Not quite. Alright, so what's that? 22.5 minus 15. Oh, where's a calculator? The 66-year-old brain struggles sometimes. 22.5. What did I say? Minus 15. 7.5. Actually, let's come in here a bit further so I can measure it. Well, I've got 30mm there. Close enough, I think, to what I need. Now 23, half of 23 is what, 11.5. But you'll have to excuse me, I'm going to pull this away from the camera so I can get my head down in there and see it a bit better. Alrighty, so I've marked those two, so I'll centre punch them, drill and tap them. I'm not going to be able to use that extra long bolt I got in there. I'll have to chop one off for this one. The rest of them won't be a problem. But I'll drill and tap two holes in here and for M6, see how we go. Alrighty, so I had a slight change of plans. I was going to drill and tap the holes in the body first and then make this piece up. But I decided this morning I'd cut it out, mark it up, and then I glued it on here with some epoxy. So we'll drill them and see how we go. That one just broke through into this thread here. But anyway, that'll do, no worries. Alrighty, a couple of M6 threads in here and this thing will be finished. Alright, so as I mentioned previously, these two holes are bloody ginormous. So how do we go lining them up? Pretty bloody good by the looks of it. This will have to be fitted up to the lead screw. I was thinking about it last night when I was lying in bed. I'm going to have to feed it in this way. Because I can't take the nut off the lead screw, off the ball screw. Ah, perfect, look at that. Like a bloody bought one, only much more better. Alright, so that's about as far as I can go with that for the time being. So now it's time to clean this up some more and actually just move this camera for a sec. My guard that I make put up in here obviously keeps the crap out there quite well. There's not much in there at all, so it's doing a good job. Alrighty, so I'll get all this cleaned up and get this thing off here completely, clean it all up, clean the other part up, put them back together and see where I can mount these damn these readers. Alrighty, so this back one, the X-axis, is the one I had the most concerns about, trying to, you know, fit it in because I don't have a lot of room. But the way it fits up against the side here, they're clamped up there at the moment. Hang on, I'll move this. Now, clamped up against the back of the table, this fits in there quite nicely, so I'll probably be able to chop this up. And I'm hoping that this will bend okay without breaking. And what I'll do is I'll try and bend it so it comes up here across the top and then back in there. And I don't think I'll even need to bolt it in. I'll just slide it in down the back of this and slid down in there. This slides in there without interfering with it, or at least it feels like it does. Maybe it does. No, I don't know. I'll sort it out. There's a tight spot there. No, that's all right. We'll just push it down so it only comes down in here, maybe that far. And because it's such a tight fit in there, I don't think we'll get any leakage down in there with a bit of luck. And there's plenty of room up under here to bolt that on to the bottom part, the Y-axis, and still clear everything. So looking good there. But I've got these two. I've had to pop these two and then punch these. So I'll get some holes drilled in there and get it bolted up and see how we go from there. Well, that didn't exactly go off without a hitch. A brand new 3mm drill poked through here, right in the intersection of the oil well in here. Snapped the bastard into 3 bits. Not happy, Jan. Anyway, so that's that side of it done. Then we just need to sort out this bit. So I'll measure up, get it in the centre. Put a clamp or something on there to hold it up. Get in here and centre punch it and then drill and tap some holes in there. Alrighty, I thought this was going too well, and it is. All fitted up, slides nicely. Got no give in there at the moment, that bloody thing's a problem. It slides up and down here nicely when I move it. And then it goes bang and stops. And first I thought, what the hell is that? What's it catching on? And it wasn't until I flipped it up on its side I realised it's actually catching on this thing. Down in here there's a tiny little bit, and it's not much. It's probably 0.2 or 0.3 of a millimetre hanging out in there. Simplest thing would be just to pack everything out a little bit so it can't catch on it. But like I showed you before, I want to jam that in there. So if I do that won't. Or I suppose, actually, if I put this in behind it, it would solve that problem. But I'll have to think about it some more. Well, bummer dude, I cut the little edge off this morning and then tried to bend it. Well, I actually end up scoring it with the grinder to try and bend it, and what I feared would happen happened, and it's snapped off. And then I didn't cut it very straight, and by the time I filed it straight, it's now too narrow anyway. But as luck would have it, I ordered a 600 2-foot by 1200 4-foot sheet of aluminium 2 days ago. A bit of luck, that might get here today, and I'll just cut a piece off it and take it down to one of the local fabrication shops and get them to bend it up for me, because my little bender I made is not long enough. It'll only take something 420 millimetres wide, and this is 550 or 560, whatever it is. Anyway, that's buddy that. So I suppose what I can do now is get on with having a look how I'm going to fit up the Y-axis one on the other end. Alrighty, so after giving this a fair bit of thought and having a look at what comes with it to attach everything with, this bracket is just bloody stupid. It's got 7mm slots in it. Comes with 2 5mm bolts. two 4mm bolts like this. Wait, I had two 5mm and nothing much else. So I dug out some countersunk 5mm, which is what the threads are in here, and I just countersunk the hole, put two of them in there. Now what I've done is I've cut a V in the top of this so that I can mount it up under here and make sure that it clears this as it moves in and out. So I'll get in there and I'll drill a couple of holes and fit that up in there like that, somewhere. Where are we? Somewhere in there. I'll mark this so I can drill some holes. Drill and tap them, and then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to attach this, probably either to base or to the the legs and everything that the base sits on. Well, my sheet of aluminium's arrived and it's certainly well packed, but it's too bloody late. Today's bar day today, and I'm going to be heading off for a beer shortly, so that'll have to wait for tomorrow. Alrighty, so after a bit of a wild goose chase this morning, running around, after I'd cut up a piece of this and marked it all out, I found a little fabrication shop with a brake. The problem was that one that I used to go to, not there anymore, and another guy that I knew, he wasn't there, so I went looking. I probably rode for 10 kilometres looking for someone, but I eventually found a guy. He bent it up for me he told me 40 baht, but I went, hey, you can have 50 baht, $2 Aussie. And they're nice, everything fits nice. That's completely covered up, so it shouldn't get any shit on it or in it. So now we'll get on with finishing off the end one, the Y-axis. Alrighty, so that's that one done. I've left the easiest one till last, the Z-axis. So I'll clean this bench up so I can get it the bloody machine, and I'll fit up the Z-axis, and then we'll do something about fitting all this back up. Alrighty, so this one I'll mount it up here, just on a piece of all thread. This bracket's different, it's got holes and drilled and tapped in it. The other one didn't have that. But once again, bloody useless, absolute overkill. So I think I might use a piece of this guard that broke off. Just cut a piece off and drill and tap some holes and go into these little holes here to attach it. Move it up and down. There somewhere. But the question is the guard. When I can finally use this, bolt that on there, I suppose. It's got to clear my short nah. Bloody hell. When it comes all the way down, just mount it on there, full length, and it hits the bottom. So how do I keep the crap out of it? $1 million question. Well, it's lunchtime, so am I going to have some lunch and have a little think about that one? Alrighty, so I did a bit of editing while I had my lunch, and while I was doing that, the solution to this cover problem suddenly became very obvious. Let's cut this and get it out of the way. Horrible thing. Rather than trying to attach it to here, if I put a longer piece of all thread in here so it sticks out further, and I forgot to mention before, the reason I'm using a piece of all thread there is that this hole here is slotted, which means I can move it in and out that way. And the all thread allows me to adjust it in and out this way to get it all right. The solution is longer all thread so it sticks out here further, another one down in the bottom, and rather than bolting this guard to here, I'll bolt the guard to here so that it stays stationary, but I'll just have to try and get it right so this sits fairly flush on here, so that this moves up and down inside the guard. The trouble is stuff can still get in here, so I'd have to try and fill that gap up somehow. But anyway, I'll worry about that later. Alrighty, so all done. Get that all set up in there. Actually, while that's still down there, made the cover up. This thread was already in there, and it was too far back, and it missed the edge of this cover, but this one was, I put this one over this way as far as I could go with it. So, fits up on here. There's a nut in behind each end of this so that I can clamp these up tight against it. I have to pop a little piece on here so I can something to bolt to. Right, now my concerns about having a gap down here are quite, they're just not founded, because when you're down here machining, all of this is down there filling that gap up anyway. and very rarely would I be up here somewhere machining something with a gap in there. So, but if that's the case, I can always keep a bit of foam rubber or something like that, just jam in there while I'm machining to keep shit out. Although with the guard on here on there, it should block it off anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem. So alrighty, so that's all three of the axes done. So now I'll get the table and everything back on. But it's getting late in the afternoon, so I'll leave all that till tomorrow. Alrighty, so I've got everything all fitted back up, and I actually had to finish this off. Finally found a use for a piece of that bracket that they give you. Bolt this on up this end. Got nothing up the other end yet, but I don't know if I'll bother. It's working there where it is now. So hang on, let me shift this camera so you can see a bit better. Right, so all the way over, this fits back up under there, no problems at all, and I don't lose too much travel there. This, you know, it's maybe only what 10 millimeters at the most, but I don't think it's even that much. It's in fact, it's not even that. It's about 4 millimeters from the edge of the table to the edge of this. Mind you, if this was all the way down, well, no, you'd never get that low. That's as low as it goes. So the new ball screw works really well, and everything's looking honky-dory. Still got to make a guard for this thing yet, and I don't really know what to do with it. I was going to use this, but it just doesn't work out, all because of this mainly. I did think, well, I'd maybe make something up that will fit over the top like this and go down the side of the bench. Might do that. You'd cut a piece up, take it down the road to the guy down the road again. This is, I don't know how thick this one is. It'll fit on between that bolt and here. I might be able to drop that down a bit lower, but I'll have a look, see what I can do. I can always cut another piece off, go back down to the guy that bent the one up on the back for me and get him to bend me another piece. Although that's a short one, I can do that myself. Bend one up that will come across here and go down here beside the bench, and then find some way of fixing it to the bench, maybe with a little L bracket or something. Pop rivet it to the guard and just screw it to the bench. But I'll find something. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. This continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the build. Alrighty, so I thought I'd do a little bit of a repeatability test on this new Y-axis and see how we go. Alright, so that's 0 on the DRO, and we're out maybe, not quite 1/100th of a millimetre. So that's not too bad. I think I can probably live with that on a homemade milling machine. Alright, so I've still got a couple of little things to do. I might make that cover up before I wrap this up, just to show you what I've done with that. And outside of that, there's not much more to do. Idiot. Shit. I bloody bent that the wrong way. Bloody twat. I should have bent, this one needed to be bent back across here, that way. But I should have done that probably first. Oh well. Made this thing a few years ago, and if I'd have made it a bit longer, it would have got a bit more use than it's had, because it hasn't had much at all. Said it before and I'll say it again. More than one way to skin a cat. Alrighty, not particularly pretty, but I don't own a panel hammer, so. But it's done the job. But one thing I didn't consider was would this bloody handle go over the top of it, and it doesn't. So, but like I said, more than one way to skin a cat. So what I'll do is and that's It's all the way over there now. Oh shit, all the way over there now. So what I might do, and there's enough room to put a nut in there still. Not really. What I might do is just make up an extension piece to screw on here to bring this out a bit. A bit of a sleeve that goes over there to keep all the crap out of that. But anyway, I think you've endured enough of this already. So if you've been kind of wondering, why have I suddenly decided I want to do all this? Well, the next project is going to require a degree of precision that up until this point I've not had, while I couldn't really depend on with the little DROs that I used. So that's what this has been all about, especially this lead screw. So I'm going to call this a wrap. I hope you enjoyed watching me do that, and you might have got something useful out of it if you want to go and fit some of these up yourself. Because this was more of a challenge than I thought it would be actually, but it's worked out alright. So if you enjoyed watching me do it, how about smashing that like button, giving it a great big thumbs up, because you know it helps me out a bit. So like I said, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.